So, I was thinking, it must really suck to get eaten by a Titan, right? I mean, you're basically getting eaten alive. Why was I thinking about getting eaten by Titans? Well, you will find out in today's episode when we talk about Attack on Titan.
Welcome back to I Was Thinking with Nafees, Simone, and Macy. I'm Nafees.
And I'm Simone. And you guys must be wondering, why is there a third person? Well, as of now, after the break, Macy is officially a host. However, she's not here today because if you haven't heard her in the past, she doesn't like horror stuff. So what we're going to talk about is not really her cup of tea. But it's fine. She'll be back later. So it's just still me and Nafees. But we have a special guest with us today. You heard him on the family episode back in the mountains. It is my big brother, Ed. Say hi, Ed. Yay.
Hi, Ed. Yay. Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you back.
You didn't have to actually repeat what I said, but it's fine.
It took you literally. It's okay.
What? But did you say that Macy doesn't like horror stuff?
She said she doesn't like stuff with like gore and like horror and blood. She wouldn't like this. I promise you she wouldn't like this.
So horror, not whore.
I said horror. Did I said horror?
It sounded like you said horror. That's what I was like,
listen,
what is she talking about?
the way I speak.
I'm like, what is Macy doing?
Like, she means horror. It's okay.
I really hope I said horror and not horror. I'm so sorry. I was also kind of speaking a little fast, so.
That's okay. You can cut that out or keep it in, whatever. I don't know if you have an explicit rating on this show.
I do if we, sometimes I can't control myself, so it's whatever.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yes. So, how are you doing, big brother of mine?
Oh, I'm great. I'm super excited to be talking about Attack on Titan. It is one of my favorite shows out there. It's at least top 10. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Wow.
Out of curiosity, what are the other 9?
Oh, I don't know.
The anime, though.
They're not.
Are the other 9 anime?
No, they're not. They're not.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the only one that's anime on there. I can't really tell you like which one's off the top of my head. I just know that Attack on Titan is up there.
It's one of your top ones.
Yeah. Attack on Titan is definitely up there. Maybe I would say like, WandaVision is really up there too.
I still need to watch that.
I heard a lot of good things about that show. I haven't seen it yet though.
Yeah, it's awesome. Gives me all the feels. So I love that one. Yeah. There's other ones for sure.
That's okay. We don't have to talk about it because that's what's important right now. We're here to talk about Attack on Titan.
That's right.
Yes.
And if you didn't hear Nafees in previous episodes, every time we brought up, hey, what anime do you like? You know what anime Nafees said? Attack on Titans. I'm pretty sure I could point out how many times she said Attack on Titans. So this is all her.
Actually, anytime anime was mentioned, I would always proceed to ask, have you seen Attack on Titan?
Literally, you'd be like, Simone, have you seen Attack on Titans? I'd be like, no, Nafees, not yet.
I think that's how our very first like anime conversation started in the library with just that. Have you seen Attack on Titan?
It might have been.
And every time Simone would be like, no, I haven't.
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
Because I feel like, why is this the only anime that you like?
It is actually, honestly.
It's not the only one. It's just the best one.
It's just the best one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can't beat it. You just can't.
Hopefully we don't get anybody in the inbox trying to fight all that. Like, actually,
You can fight me on it. I don't care. It's an amazing show.
It's an amazing show, and there's plenty of like super nerds out there. Super, what do they call weebs? Is that what we call them? Anime people?
Yeah, I think it's weebs.
There's plenty of weebs who would agree that Attack on Titan is one of the best animes to ever exist. So
yeah. I'm not going to lie. A lot of other shows have come close, but I think like storyline wise, arc wise, this one is like the best for me, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. Well, as you can see, we have the two super fans here, so I'm sure they're going to be doing most of the talking. But I have watched. Okay, I'm not going to lie. For this one, I only watched season 1 due to time, and we're only going to talk about season 1 so we don't get any spoilers out. If we do any spoilers, we will definitely put some spoiler warnings just to let you guys know. But we encourage you to watch the show, and hopefully after this episode, encourage you to watch it as well.
But here's the thing, though. You can't really talk about the show without, you can't even do a Google search without spoiling something. Like that's how how would you word it? Spoil sensitive it is? Yeah.
Well, is that because it's just been around for so long?
I think it's because it's been around for a long time. I think it's been around for about 10 years.
Is that how long? Wait, when did season 1 come out?
Yeah, I think the first episode came out in 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And the manga series is still going on. The last chapter actually comes out on Tuesday. So very sad about that. But yeah, so it's a mystery box show. So, it's one of those shows where instead of you getting answers to questions immediately, they will pose questions throughout the entire show. And so when they finally answer something, then it answers like 1,000 other questions. So because of that, you can't really Google stuff because it correlates to something that's happening like 3 seasons later. But right now it's supposed to be a secret for you. So that's why you can't really Google stuff. That's why it's so spoiler sensitive for sure.
And then like the auto population of Google, like you'll type in Attack on Titan, a character name, and then it'll give you options like death, reborn, or whatever. I don't know. So like, there's that too.
Yeah, because when I was watching this, I'm like, okay, what is going on? Like every episode, I just got more confused and more confused. And I'm like, hey, someone just give me some answers.
Right. You're going to feel like that up until the very last episode.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine because it keeps me interested, but
But here's the thing, though. It gives you answers while also creating more questions in your mind.
But it's fun.
I love it. It's great.
It's in a fun way. Remember watching Lost, and they would just keep asking or making new questions, but they would never answer them. Ever since season 1, episode 1, scene 1, there is stuff that happens that you don't know why they happen until the end of season 3. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's nuts. Till literally the last scene of season 3. It's crazy. I love it. Are you guys going to do a recap of season 1 or no?
No, not a recap.
Okay.
I was just going to give like a quick, just basically what it is.
I mean, I was hoping we would do a recap of season 1. We'll see where our conversation goes after.
But the thing is, if you do a recap, you give stuff away. So I guess you could do that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think, no, season 1, we got to give it away.
We have to give it away. I will put the spoilers. We do the recap first, give some interesting facts, or do the recap after. Listen to me. I just want to talk. I have things I need to talk about. I thought that was the whole point of this. Now you got me hooked on this. I need to talk about it.
All right. I'm just looking out for the people that haven't seen it and they want to see it, because I am actually really relieved. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing. So like it was just surprise after surprise after firework after firework. It was great.
Right.
So I don't want to ruin that for the viewers. So we'll do that. I'll just do like a general thing, like the world building, and then we can get into the specifics.
I think that's great.
So that works.
Yeah.
But Simone, we never asked you. How'd you like it?
This will be the first time everyone's hearing this. I would like to apologize for waiting so long to watch this damn show.
Yes.
I don't know what was happening. I don't know why I was missing out. I literally stayed up because it's so many episodes. And like I said, I've been busy with work. I literally stayed up on one of my days off until like 3. just watching this, trying to catch up. Not only to record, but just because I was so interested, because I was at a part in the season where like one thing after one thing was just happening and it kept giving me cliffhangers. I'm like, okay, maybe one more time and then I'll go to bed.
Right.
And then 30 minutes later, okay, baby, let me just see where they go for this. Let me wait for like a slower, not so much of a cliffhanger ending, and then I'll go to bed. And it ended up being like 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, so. Yeah. That's all happens.
I'm so glad you like it. Now you understand, right?
Literally, I was watching season 2. Yeah, I was watching season 2 before I called them. So I'm just that. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good.
Now you finally understand the hype, right?
I do. The long-awaited hype.
But for those of you that haven't seen the show, it's based off of the manga series of the same name by Hajime Isayama. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. But the first season, which is what we're talking about today, has 25 episodes. And if I'm not mistaken, it covers chapters 1 through 34 in the manga, right? Yeah, so that's essentially what we're talking about. And so a lot of stuff does happen. Currently, there's 4 seasons out, and I think that's it as far as the anime, right?
Yeah, isn't the 4th season the last season? Right? The 4th season's going to be the last season, I thought, right?
This is the final season, the 4th season. However, it's going to be in 2 parts.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's still going to be considered season 4, though, right? But just in 2 parts.
Correct. Yeah. So
I know how they do that sometimes.
So the last season just ended. Or part 1 just ended on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And I think part 2 comes back in the winter. I was reading on.
Yeah.
Sometime in the winter
of 2021.
Not happy about that.
Don't you have the books? Because you keep up with the manga, right?
You've read all of them.
Oh, he has it right there. Listen, look at him.
He has them present.
Yeah. So I have all the Attack on Titan Colossal editions. I have 1 through 5. The sixth one hasn't come out yet. And then I also have like the smaller ones. So like these are just like a collection of like 5 chapters each. But
they're huge.
I love Attack on Titan. I really do. It's an amazing story. And so yeah, I'm all caught up with the manga. Like I said, there is 1 chapter left. It comes out on Tuesday, and last night I actually just read the second to last chapter, and let me tell y'all something. Whew. It's too much.
No.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. In a good way.
Okay.
Yeah. How is the difference like for you? Because you're pretty much caught up with the manga, and then you also watch the anime. Did you feel like a lot of stuff was missing or could have been better done?
Real quick, I feel like on that question before my brother answers, because I did that with like Fairy Tail, because I read like the last season before they made it an anime. I feel like manga and anime do a pretty good job at sticking to the manga, in my opinion, for most mangas I've read and then watched the animes, unlike some like book to movie adaptations like you would see in America. They don't cut out too much, sometimes smaller things, but in my opinion, I feel like the crossover, I don't know how it is for Attack on Titan, but I'm saying like other series I've read and watched, they usually stick with the main story.
Yeah, I would agree with that for Attack on Titan. It's a lot of the stuff is scene for scene. And it's just, They get all the main points. Obviously there's going to be like little conversations that you're missing from the manga, but they do a surprisingly great job.
Good.
I don't know what studio makes them, because every time I would see like the beginning credits, it would always say the Attack on Titan committee. So I don't know if that's their own personal studio that's making the anime, because you know how sometimes you would see the studios that make the anime like at the beginning titles, but I didn't see ones I recognized.
Well, are you watching the sub version or the dub version?
Well, season 1, I watched the dub just because I've been tired and I couldn't read the subtitles. But season 2, I'm watching the sub.
Okay. Well, when it's the dub version, it's the Attack on Titan committee, because that's like the Funimation crew. They are in charge of doing this subtitle or the dubs. And but like the studios, the first 3 seasons, I want to say the studio was Wit.
Oh, okay.
And then this latest season is Mappa.
Okay.
Mappa is the same people who did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as well.
That was another one that was recommended to me by my old boss.
That one's
I
great.
heard of that one.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what that one's about.
It's so much fun. It's ridiculous anime. They just pretty much make fun of animes, but kind of like One Punch Man, but it's just so ridiculous and extreme, and it's great. Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's okay, so since y'all want to talk in detail, let me just go ahead and just give a summary of what the show basically is. So essentially, for those of you that don't know what the whole premise of Attack on Titans is basically that humankind or mankind, whatever you want to call it, they live in like cities and towns within 3 major walls that are surrounded by Titans. So there's 3 walls. There's Wall Maria, which is the outermost. Then there's the middle wall, which is Wall Froze. And then the innermost wall, which is protecting like the king and like the higher up officials, is Wall Sina. And in the surrounding area of it, you have like these Titans, which is basically, yeah, you have Titans. And Titans are basically, how would you describe them?
They're ginormous humanoids, I guess. Like,
yeah, they're like humans, like giant humans that eat tiny humans, which are like normal humans.
I guess maybe if like they're humans without our intellect, if that makes sense. So they act on instinct since technically humans are mammals. So I feel like if we never advanced for like the technology, the speech and stuff like that, maybe that's what we would have been like. You never know.
Maybe.
They're cannibalistic humanoid Neanderthals.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the land that this whole area is on, called Paradise, it's based off of the island of Madagascar. Did y'all know that?
Oh, wow.
Really?
I did not know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, in this season though, you come across like different types of Titans. So you have like the regular or the pure Titans, which are the mindless one. And then you have the abnormals, which are the ones you can't really, predict what they're going to do. And then you have like the colossal Titan and the armored Titan and the female Titan. So there's a bunch of different Titans that you'll see throughout the episodes.
So are the abnormals really considered abnormals just because they didn't have enough time to study their behavior, so they couldn't really give them names, so they don't know how they move since they're not like mindless and everything? Is that why they're called abnormals? Just because the humans didn't have time to study like their behavior or powers outside of the normal ones?
I would say possibly. I think it's more of the fact that like 90% of the Titans, they just act very mindless. They don't like that. They act dumb. They just eat whatever they see, and they can't really like do much. But then there's like other ones that seem a little bit smarter. They can climb trees. They can usually like they're not awake normally the Titans aren't awake at night. But like abnormals, sometimes they are up at night and they're just a little different. They can run faster. They can run a straight line. Yeah.
The ones with like the big eyes or like the ones with they're just smiling all the time do creep me out the most. I don't know why.
Those, yeah.
People that like smile too much like that, like it creeps me out for some. I don't feel like it's normal. And then the ones, not about the ones that like do this weird crawling thing where it's like twisted. It's like, oh my God.
Some of them are so scary. Some of them are like super funny looking, and some of them like look even funnier in later seasons. It's great.
Yeah, I think that's what added to like the scare of the Titans is how ridiculous they look and how they walk and how they approach their prey. Like it's just the whole overall ambience of these Titans are just so, they're creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Man baby ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, according to Wikipedia though, the essential story is that it follows the adventures of Eren Jaeger and his childhood friends Mikasa Ackerman and Adamine Arlert, whose lives are changed forever after a colossal Titan breaches the wall of their town home. And then because of his own personal loss, he vows to take revenge and to reclaim the world that the Titans took from them. So that is the essential premise of the story. So I didn't write down much about the other characters, but the 3 main characters are Eren, Mikasa and Armin. So Eren, he's the main guy. He's the one who was personally affected because he did lose a family member. And like I said, so he wants to get revenge. So he joins the military and the Survey Corps, which are the people that go out and look up or gather intel of how to attack the Titans, right?
Name of the show.
Self-explanatory. Mikasa, she's a childhood friend. So her parents were actually friends with Eren's dad because Eren's dad is a doctor. So he went to go visit them one day and he found her by herself because her parents have been assassinated or murdered. And so he takes her home with them and then she's been living with them ever since.
Real quick, Mikasa, if you look up the definition of ride or die, you would see a picture of her. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's the definition of a real loyal friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great, though. She's my favorite.
She is great. She's so awesome. Strong, so powerful.
She's so badass. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
She really is.
One of my favorites, definitely. Her, and I actually like Armin also. He was a little annoying at first because, like, the way... I mean, he would just freak out so much, but I understand why he freaked out so much. Yes. I was just letting you know. He's also turned into one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Armin is the other childhood friend of Eren, and he joins the military along with Mikasa and... What's his name? Eren.
I'm forgetting already.
Yeah. But yeah. So he's actually super, super smart, but he has like this inferiority complex, which prevents him to like actually reach his full potential. But like over the season, you see him actually accept that he's smart and not necessarily as strong physically, but he makes up for it with his brain. So that was a really nice character development to see.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then real quick before we actually talk about the episodes, because I see my brother getting a little... He's ready to discuss the season. I was very curious because I'm like the type of person who likes to know like the background or like what things are based off of. So I was like, are these Titans based off of Greek mythology? Because when I ever heard the word Titan, I would always think of like Greek mythology. But when I was doing research, I found out that doesn't make sense because there's really only 12 Titans in Greek mythology. So I found out they're actually based off of giants and I hope I'm saying this word right, the Norse mythology. Norse. And if you guys are like me, didn't know what Norse mythology is, it refers to the Scandinavian mythological framework that upheld during around the time of the Viking Age, which was 790 to 1100 CE. What does CE mean?
Good question.
I know BC, I know AD, I don't know what CE is. It's fine. Anyway, complete with the creation myth that has the first god slaying a giant and turning his body parts into the world. So like various parts of his body end up creating the world itself and destroyed the known world before that, which was Ragnarok. And apparently, which I also didn't know this is the mythology where Thor and Loki from Marvel is from.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah.
Yep, I never knew that.
I actually didn't know that either.
Yeah, Thor and Loki and their father Odin is from this myth. So loosely, these Titans in this show are based off of like the frost giants or just giants in general from the Norse mythology. Not all the way, but that's just where I guess the author got his ideas from. So I thought it was interesting. I'll post a link too if you want to learn more about the mythology itself.
Yeah, that's a really interesting spin.
Yeah.
There's that. And then also he based the kind of dumbness of the Titans. The creator used to work at an internet cafe. And so a lot of the customers that would come in would be like drunk or high or whatever. And so they all would be like these mindless things. So he created these mindless Titans based off of how they would act.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see it now in like some of their faces.
Exactly.
Wow.
I can just imagine like sitting at a computer or something, just like
watching these people come
faces.
in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now make sure that you at least appear intelligent wherever you go, or else you'll be like the next character of a super hit anime.
Right.
Hey, never judge a book off its cover.
Right. I don't think I asked you guys this earlier, but how did you come across Attack on Titan, Ed?
I think I was just looking up animes to watch, and I think the first season was on Netflix, actually.
which they took off.
Which they took off
in February. I was
They
so
took it
mad.
off. I had to watch it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the
Hulu,
seasons are on there on
Funimation.
Hulu, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Hulu, Funimation, Crunchyroll, they all have it. But yeah, so I was just like looking up things to watch, and I heard enough stuff about Attack on Titan that I was like, oh, okay. And so I had tried to watch it one time before. I got to like the third episode, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. Everyone's just screaming, blah, blah. And then like I tried to watch it again, and I just sucked through it past like episode 5, and I was completely hooked. So I didn't start reading the anime or the manga until like a couple months ago. No, like maybe, yeah, like a couple months ago, because I was watching the final season. I had so many questions, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna read the anime or read the manga. And I did, and no regrets.
Your story sounds like me and my discovery of Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
So yeah, because like I tried to watch it like it's on Netflix, the first season, and like I've watched it like until episode maybe 3 like you, and I was like, what is this? This is weird. So I stopped, and then months later I came back to it and I started watching. I'm like, why did I stop watching it? It was also a weird time like after high school. So since the show is based off of like friendships, I was like going through like my own questioning of friendships. So that's why I think I liked it so much, and it was so cute. And then like for the final season, I'm like, I can't wait. I need to know what it is. The manga's already out, so I bought it. I literally have the whole last season. So.
Yeah. Amazing.
And plus, too, I think the reason I just didn't get into Attack on Titan's late, I don't know if I ever said this, but I just got into anime late in general. I didn't really start watching anime until I was like, I think 18, 19. Yeah, I think I was always afraid of like the stigma of like being made fun of, because you know how everyone was back then. So, and like the only ones I knew of was like Dragon Ball and Naruto. And I think I already discussed how I may never watch Dragon Ball in my life. I don't think that anime's for me. So, but it just took me a while to find other ones and appreciate the art, because I've always liked cartoons. I never know why it took me so long to actually watch anime.
What about you, Nafees? How'd you get into Attack on Titan? AOT, as I like to say.
My friend recommended I watch it. She's also the same friend that got me into K-dramas too. So the way she approached me was really suspicious. She's like, hey, do you want to watch a show? And I'm like, sure, let's watch a show. But like she had like this disclaimer expression on like, okay, it may not be what you're expecting, but I heard good things about it, so let's watch at least the first episode. I'm like, okay, 1 episode, fine, whatever. And then we watched the first episode in like, I don't know, like 10 minutes. And I'm like, what is happening? And then by the end of the episode, I'm like, let's obviously go on to episode 2. And then like it just started from there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So you were hooked instantly.
Yeah. Well, I was hooked after a very key scene had happened. So.
Which we will talk
Should we
about.
go ahead and put this? Yeah, should we go ahead and do the spoilers
let's just get
now?
right into it. So this is the point where spoilers are going to be talked about. So those of you that have not seen it, I suggest you stop right here.
Well, if you want to, or you can
If you
listen to us
want to
talk
spoil
about
it for
It's up
yourself,
to you.
I highly suggest you don't, though. But you can still listen to it. It's up to you.
Like I always
Free will
repeat,
is a
guys,
thing.
do whatever you want. If you want to listen to us and hear how excited we are about the show, to get you to actually watch the show and see what we're talking about, go ahead. If you want to stop it here. But I hope we gave enough great information to get you guys interested to go watch the show. So Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. Where do we begin, guys?
Aaron's a Titan shifter.
He's a Titan shifter.
Okay.
You start off right there. I didn't know if we were going to go into like, okay, so this is what happens when they attack. No, we just went right to it.
Do you mind if I just... Oh, pardon me. Do you mind if I just go ahead and like recap the first episode? Because I feel like that's really how we can talk about this.
Go for it.
So in a world where there's like no other people.
Oh, you have a great voice for that.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is this world where all humanity has been wiped out, except for this huge city that is surrounded by 3 outer walls.
And real quick, do we know how many people actually, how big are these walls? I don't know if they ever say it in the show. Do we know? Because I don't know how many people actually live in here.
Like probably 1 million, 2 million.
1 million? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious because I'm like, these walls are huge. Like, how big is this population?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like the inner wall was the size of like a main city, like a.
You think a New York type, maybe? That's how big, or that's too big? Like New York City?
I kind of want to say like a winter park. If you're in Florida, like maybe like in Orlando. Actually, no, I think Orlando might be the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a recap of the first episode. Here we go. There is this world, and the last people on Earth, they're all stuck inside these 3 walls. And the walls are 50 meters high, and they're protecting the world, the last remaining population, from these things called Titans. And they're huge, giant humanoid creatures. And the only thing they like to do is eat humans. And so they have been ravaging this world for at least 100 years, or they've been ravaging this world for a long time. They built these walls, so they've had 100 years of peace within these walls. One day, no, I don't want to say it like that. So inside the walls, everyone's like acting normal. Things are fine, blah, blah, blah. There's this one kid, his name is Aaron, and his goal is to become a scout. He wants to find out what is beyond the walls. He wants to find out why the Titans are so mean and why they want to eat everyone. And he's also mad at the interior police because they're not doing anything to actually help. And he's like, you know what? It's been 100 years of peace, but that doesn't mean that at any moment the Titans can attack. Lo and behold, that day they see a lightning strike, and above the wall comes this head, a huge head, and some shoulders, and it's a Titan, later to be called the Colossal Titan. He is 60 meters tall, and actually I'm looking at a picture of him right now on my screen, and the walls are 50 meters tall. So everyone's like, how in the heck did this happen? Well, guess what? He kicks a hole in the wall. All these Titans come through, and they just ravage this little town, Aaron's town, Shiganshina. And Aaron's like, oh no, I got to check on my mom. So he runs, he checks on his mom. Turns out there has been, the roof has been collapsed because of a rock that fell on their house. She's stuck in there, and she's like, Aaron, if you do nothing else, listen to me just this once and run away. So he doesn't want to run away because he's very hard-headed. One of his mom's friends comes and takes him, and they run away from this Titan that's coming. The Titan grabs his mom, breaks her back in half, and then eats her like a piece of spaghetti. And Aaron just has to watch the whole thing go down. And as he's watching it go down and her blood fly through the air, he said, I'm going to kill every last Titan in this world. And that is Aaron's mission. And that's Attack on Titan show. That's the premise of the show.
It's just Aaron going out and trying to kill all Titans to avenge his mother. And we don't know what happened to the father. Because he left before they attacked, right? I don't remember what happened to his... did he leave a couple days before that? Was he gone for a while?
No, I think he left a couple days before that.
Okay. Because briefly there was a scene where he was running back to the town when I guess he knew the Titans attack, but we just never heard from him again after that. So I was very confused. I wonder what happened to him. Yes. I know you probably know.
Yeah. I wonder what happened. Wonder what he was doing. Yeah. So that is the first episode. And then kind of basically, we're going throughout. Aaron eventually becomes a scout like he wanted to. Mm-hmm. So he is one of the people going out into beyond the walls to try to not only kill the Titans, but figure out what they are, who they are, why they are, and how we can stop them. So he becomes a scout. He's doing his thing, blah, blah, blah. So, Aaron's like, he's pretty much a badass at this point. He's like out there fighting. He's killing Titans. He's got he's got big balls at this point. He's going for it.
Yeah.
So he's fighting the Titans that are in Shiganshina, and his friend Armin is like about to get eaten by one of the Titans, and he's like, not on my watch,
exactly.
Biatch. So he runs over there. He runs over there to help Armin, and then he pushes Armin out of the way, and He pushes Aaron or Armin out of the way, and he's got his hand out, and then all of a sudden we see the Titan chomp down on his arm, and then Aaron's arm goes flying.
Well, didn't at first, I think he pushed him out of the way because he was still on the roof, and I think the Titan actually got his leg because you saw he was missing a leg. So then when the Titan
That's right.
got Armin in his mouth, he found the like strength to actually push Armin out of his mouth to replace him. When he's reaching out, that's when the Titan chomps his arm, because then his arm is on the roof next to Armin. So he ended up missing.
That's right.
Getting a leg and an arm chopped off.
Yeah. Aaron gets pretty messed up in this scene. So basically what happens is like Aaron's dead. You know, our main character, it's like a Game of Thrones moment.
Oh my God.
And you're like, okay, well, I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's it on this guy. Let's focus on the other ones.
Right.
So, everyone else is fighting. Say what?
A new hero to emerge.
Yeah, exactly. We got to find the next antagonist. So he's gone. And we're all hanging out. We're still fighting these Titans. And his best friend, Mikasa, as we talked about before, she finds out that he's dead and she's just devastated. So she's like, all right, I'm just going to go out on a suicide mission and I'm going to pretty much like kill as many Titans as I can. And you know what? When I'm done, I'm done. So she's out there, she's fighting, and then she gets really tired and she's like, I'm going to try to fight one more time because Aaron wouldn't give up and he saved me before. And, I have to do this for him and his legacy to make sure that this battle is not in vain. So she's about to slice one of the Titans. And then all of a sudden, a Titan comes up behind her and like presses and like steps down really hard. Like the whole area around her rumbles and she gets like lifted up in the air. And it turns out there's like this skinny, very fit Titan.
Oh, okay.
With hair.
With the shaggy hair and like
with hair.
Okay.
And like a nice smile, like handsome.
We sipping for Titans now.
And you're like, what the heck? And he punches the other Titan and he like stomps the other Titan like to bits. And you're like, what? We have never seen a Titan do this before. We've never seen a Titan on Titan attack. Well, turns out later we find out that it's Aaron. There are a certain amount of people, 7 people in the world in this, in these walls that can have the power to turn into a Titan, and each of these 7 have their own special powers. And Aaron has inherited this Titan called, no, that's a spoiler.
Yeah, that's even a spoiler.
Aaron has.
It's like, wait a minute.
Aaron has inherited one of the Titans, and we're just trying to. In the first season, we're just trying to figure out why does he have this Titan, and how can we use it for good? And that's basically what the Scouts' new mission is like to use Aaron's Titan for good to beat away the other Titans. And the goal of the first season is to patch up this wall that the Colossal Titan broke in Shiganshina so that no more Titans can start coming through the wall. And that's pretty much.
Well, before they wanted to use him, they wanted to kill him because they didn't know what he was.
Were so terrified when they found out he could turn into a Titan. Their immediate reaction was just to kill him. And I was like, I understand you guys are scared, but like at the same time, I feel like this is an advantage no one thought about except for like the people in the Scouts, how much of an advantage this could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that's human nature. Like when you're afraid of something, you want to kill it. You just want it to be gone. So it's fair that they didn't know what it was. I mean, again, like a lot of these people had never even seen a Titan before. And now one of the people that is there with them is a Titan. And like their whole world is just being changed. And like their family members are getting killed by these Titans. And then you have like someone who's supposed to be a comrade who can turn into one of those things. Like, yeah, I'm going to kill him. I'm not going to think rationally. I'm just going to want to kill him as revenge for like killing my mom, killing my, family, all that stuff. So, yeah.
That was another thing I was thinking for like human nature. Because when we talked about the first episode, I was thinking like, is it dangerous to get too comfortable? Because like you said, most of these people, except for the Scouts, have never seen a Titan. And they are just so used to just being behind the walls and not thinking and not being properly prepared. I can think of a lot of real life situations like that, like this pandemic where like we're not, because when was the last pandemic? Was it the Spanish flu? Like worldwide?
So, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the Spanish
I
flu
think
was the
so.
last
Okay,
one.
it just made me think of like, since we have all these vaccines, we were prepared and not prepared at the same time when something new happened so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We were just too comfortable with our normal.
We were prepared for a disaster to happen, but
Exactly.
we just weren't prepared with the correct tools.
Yeah, so like
Right.
how the people weren't prepared for it if a Titan maybe was smart enough to actually attack the walls. And if the
Yeah.
walls weren't strong enough,
Mm-hmm.
that's what caused this disaster.
Like there were a lot of variables they didn't really think about.
Or maybe act on.
And they couldn't have ever thought about it because there's just, again, all the other Titans that they've ever seen are just, they're all dumb. They don't have any intelligence, and they just, if the wall was there normally, they would just literally run into the wall. By which you see like a lot of them. That's why whenever the wall gets knocked down, they all immediately come in because they're literally just like pushing against the wall because they're so dumb and they're mindless zombies essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, no one was expecting for someone to be able to knock down the wall or even for a Titan to be that tall. I mean, they've never seen a Titan taller than 50 meters. And here's one that's 60.
We've never
So
seen
yeah,
a muscular Titan at that too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
that's true. Yeah. The armored Titan also counts. They've never seen something like that. Like, how does this guy have armor all over him?
Yeah.
None of our guns are penetrating him that we use on other Titans. Like, nothing is working on him. He's pretty much invincible.
Like even the mindless one, the cannons, like at the first episode, the cannons were just too old. Like when they were shooting the regular mindless ones, I don't think they were having effect, correct? When they first attacked the outer wall where Aaron City was.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So they just weren't prepared, like mentally, weapon wise, they weren't prepared. They just weren't prepared. They were not prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where in the season they mentioned this, but like at some point they talked about how there's no point of like the survey corps, like the survey portion of the military, because they weren't really getting new information. It was the same old stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like what Simone was talking about the real world
yeah.
relations. And I think that especially as you get further in this series, like the real world comparisons, they're just unavoidable and a little scary. But what was I saying about the real world stuff? And you said, what did you just say, Nafees?
What did I just say?
None of us remember
Yeah,
what she
I
just
remember.
said.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh, how there's no
It was
point of
about,
the
like-
survey corps because they weren't getting new information.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So in like the middle of the season, like there is someone complaining. It's like, oh my goodness, all of our taxpayers or tax dollars
Yes, the
are
people,
going
the
to
town
waste.
people, yes.
Yeah. Because like every time you guys go out, you just come back dead.
Yeah.
Or, like half of the army gets wiped out and like, what are we paying for? It's pointless. They're always going to be there. Let's just stay in the walls. And they just get
that
very
reminds
complacent.
me of an emotional scene when they come back and the mom,
Yeah.
like they had like a hand of a soldier,
Oh, yeah,
and the
at the
mom
beginning.
asked, was his death worth it? Like, did it add value? And the commander had to say, no, it didn't. And like, that was like a really, really strong point for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that scene because what they're really trying to establish is that there's no hope here. Like everything is, and this is how we live. We're going to be caged in these walls for the rest of our life. We have been outside the wall so many times and we have made no progress at all. And it's just really there to show how dark this world is. And the only safe place was inside these walls. And now that the wall's broken down, like everything's just been turned on its head.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
now they're just attacking each other also, like human against human. It's not even about the Titans anymore. It's about like everyone's just so much in fear. No one's really trying to work together to try to figure out a way to kill them. I feel like now they're all just turning on each other, which is making it worse because when you're not working together, we're getting nowhere.
It's just more chaotic. Yeah.
It's more chaotic.
Yeah. So true. So wise.
Yeah, but it was interesting at the beginning, like watching Aaron like go through his training, like the first 2 and 3 episodes, because he was so confident when he first went in there talking about how they killed him, and then when they did that training for the belts that they were originally going to use when they're going out, he ended up not being able to work. Like he flips upside down, and that really made him be quiet. So, not a main character, but there's also another character where I liked his development throughout the season, which his name is Gene, I think. Yeah, when he first gets there,
Jean.
Is it John or Gene?
It's John.
Okay, it's spelled like Gene, but it's pronounced John.
It's French.
Yeah, and just like how he wanted to be the military police, just live in the inner walls, do nothing. And then like when they started going out and actually dealing with the Titans, how he had a shift, especially this one person that was on his team when he was talking about him when he said why he was the best leader. I don't remember what he actually told
Marco.
Yes, I think he told him, you're not the best leader because you can lead. It's because you understand us and you have fear just like the rest of us. So you understand our fear or something like that. And that really got to him and made him want to join the Scouts. Because I remember that scene where like they were done with their training and the Scouts was asking like who actually wants to stay here. And you see like him and other little side characters and how they just wouldn't move and his whole monologue. Like that really got to me. So that was touching.
Yeah. That was awesome. I love John. He's an amazing character.
Yeah. Good character development, because I did not like him at first. I like Sasha, though. I don't know why. She's so quirky.
Sasha.
I loved her. Potato Girl.
Yeah, Potato Girl.
When I first saw her scene when like they were standing for command, and I'm like, this girl's legit eating a potato. I'm like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. And that's what everyone was saying. He's like, what? You're not only eating the potato here, you're going to break it off and give the commander the smaller piece. I'm like, dog. She's like, the potato was lonely. I didn't want it to get cold. They're not as good when they're cold. I'm like, okay. It's just so funny. And then later on, she steals meat from the...
was just like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, the commander was just like dumbfounded how someone could be so selfish and unaware of how selfish she was being. It's so funny.
But can I talk about real quick, because you mentioned that she stole meat, because that same scene, I wrote this down too. I'm like, now how is the creator going to do this to us? How is he going to give Aaron a 5-minute monologue speech about how, they're trading, things are starting to look hopeful, they're getting prepared to take on these Titans, and as soon as he finished, boom, the Colossal comes and knocks the wall again.
Perfect timing. It's like, perfect timing. That was a setup. That's all it was.
I literally started laughing when he was done talking and you just saw the Colossal's face. I started maniacally laughing. I had to pause the episode because I'm like, they didn't have to do this to him. They did not have to do this to him.
It was like, what, 5 years since the last one? It's like, okay, that's too long.
Yeah.
Let's come back.
He's like, oh, it's been 5 years. I think it's time for me to show myself. Boom. Just kicks down the wall.
Right.
Let them not get too comfortable.
And wait till you find out. There is I can't. It's actually kind of... Nafees, where are you in the anime?
I finished season 2, but I have to rewatch it because I forgot a lot of the details.
You haven't seen season 3?
No. You look so disappointed. I'm sorry.
All right. See you guys later. See y'all later. Have fun. Record the rest of this podcast.
He's literally leaving. Okay.
I can't believe you haven't seen season 3.
Because it was coming out at the time and I didn't want to wait episode per episode. Like I wanted it out all at once.
Y'all can't blame me. I just started. I already finished the first season in a week. So
I'm not gonna lie. I think that I don't think that there's like a lot more that we can talk about in this first season. I think that you both need to see at least until the end of the 3rd season because there is you think you like it now? Wait till you see the end of the 3rd season, okay?
That's fine.
So is this a to be continued?
I mean, I almost want to say to be continued because, it's hard. It's very hard to talk about. But I mean, I'll say like up until the end of the 1st season. We can talk about that.
Yes, because I wanted to bring up the female Titan because she.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was almost rooting for her. I'm not gonna lie. When she first appeared,
I liked her character. She was quiet. She was nice, and then she was the Titan.
Yes, before we reveal her name, because like when she first came, I was like, oh my god. I think that's when we realized there's someone else like Aaron, because just the way she was fighting. At first, I thought she was just an abnormal, like maybe not the mother of all Titans, but just like I didn't pick up she was another person like Aaron at first when I first watched her, because I'm like, this girl is too coordinated. She's like, but then when you watch her fight, you would kind of understand. Like her fighting skills, I guess, are like the military fighting. There was a scene where like she was picking off scouts, and then literally she had one of them and she was swinging them around like a yo-yo. I'm like, this is brutal. This is literally brutal.
So
like she had keys, and you know how people just be swinging them sometimes.
Keys?
She was doing that with the soldier, and I was like, this is. I don't know if I can watch this anymore. They're getting their asses kicked.
Yeah. It was rough to watch for sure.
Rough.
But she left Adamine alone though. And I think that's when he figured it out. Like he had his hunch of who it was. That kid is smart. That kid is so smart. I'm glad it actually came out. And I felt later season.
And I felt bad for Eren because like when she was chasing the female Titan, chasing them, when she found them, when everyone else distractions didn't work and she killed them all, it was really sad to watch like his turmoil of like if he turned into a Titan or not, and talking to Captain Levi. Where was I going with this? And telling like the choice is his, but he didn't turn and ended up getting the rest of like Captain Levi's team killed. So
yeah, I mean, I thought that it was incredible, the reveal and everything. I just it's really cool to see how Armin figured it out, and then how we get the explanation of how he figured it out. I thought it was amazing. And you know, I've watched the first season like 10 times at this point. And I just think that it's always so cool when the female Titan first appears and when she leaves and then comes back. You don't realize at the time how strong that means that she is, and how well trained she is to use her Titan. And it shows whenever she's like, whenever the scouts eventually trap her, and then she has a couple different powers. Like one, they trap her and she can call other Titans that are nearby closer to help her. All Titans have like a regeneration power. So they're almost all invincible unless you hit them in the nape of the neck. And what the female Titan could do is when people were going for the nape of her neck, she would crystallize it and make it hard. Yeah. So they couldn't actually slice it. And so that's when people were like, how does she know that we know that this is the point where it's supposed to be? Unless she's a scout, unless she's like part of the military, because those are the only people who know that we know where the nape is. And then also, so they're like, they have an idea where like, okay, let's cut out her eyes so that way she doesn't know where we're coming from. So they poke out both her eyes and she's able to, and also like her arms are gone. Yes. So yeah. Oh my God, this is a good one. So basically like they poke out both of her eyes and then she's holding the back of her neck like this, and then they cut her underarm so she's not able to like actually control it, but she's leaning against the tree, and both of her eyes are popped out. And so what she does is she channels her power into just one eye, and the eye pops back out, and then she can see it, and she just smacks them out of the air
like a bug.
It's like
she was killing them like they were just flies.
Right. It was crazy. But I love that. And so basically we find out that the female Titan is actually Annie. And Annie is one of the girls that was training with Eren, Mikasa, Armin in the first scout group. Like she is from a different town, like some other people. And she's an armored Titan. And it turns out like she is, or not the armored Titan. She's the female Titan. It turns out she's like trying to kill people and also like capture Eren, but we don't know why she's trying to capture Eren.
Yeah, and like I didn't even realize she didn't join the scouts. For some reason, I didn't notice like she went to the military police. I thought she was with them the whole time. So that also took me by surprise because I was like, wait, for some reason in my back of my mind, I was like, I thought she was here this whole time. I didn't realize she wasn't part of the scouts.
Yeah.
And you'll find out why she's in the military police later on. And Annie's like, oh, wow, maybe I can be a good person. No one's ever really said that to me or about me. And so she's conflicted.
Yeah, that's also why she left him alone when everybody was after her.
And then real quick, I thought it was interesting the whole speech he was giving to her about a good person. His definition was a good person, which also kind of made me think because he was like, well, I mean, we don't really, how am I trying to say this? We kind of made up on our own what a good person actually is. And is a good person really just someone who like what does he specifically say?
I don't remember.
Helps us on our own needs or something like that. Like does stuff for us and we consider them good people. Like
because they help us.
Yeah, because they help others for their need, but not like in a empathetic way, and kind of like an almost the way he says it, like a selfish way, and that's why we dictate people as good people. It's hard to explain.
And Armin, it is kind of hard to explain, at least because I haven't seen it that scene so recently, but. And there's another scene that Armin like kind of reveals how smart he is. And I think it's like in the first or second episode where he's getting beat up by these bullies. And Armin's like, you can beat me up, but I've already won because the fact that you have to resort to violence to make your point means that you don't have a good enough point. So,
That's
you know, you beat me up if you want to, but I already won. And so the bullies are like, okay. So then they let him go. And then, of course, like here comes Mikasa running behind and they run away.
What's funny about that scene though is that Eren thought that they were running because of him.
No, it's because of Mikasa.
No, sir. It was because of Mikasa.
Right, exactly. You see Mikasa running behind like a ghost figure. It's like looks so awesome. But yeah, so female Titan is Annie. They try to make a plan to trap her, and it kind of doesn't really work. It turns out that she actually ends up turning into a crystal. And it looks like she's crying at first. Yeah. So first, like Aaron's like tries to go beat her up, and then he finally gets her, and then it looks like she starts to cry. She turns back into Annie, and then she turns herself into a giant crystal, and they can't get the crystal open or anything. And so they're like, well, okay, I guess that's that. And they haven't been able to get her out since.
A quick point though about that is that Eren did have her, but because of his like humanity, he let her crystallize basically.
Yeah, because he was fighting with his humanity at first, because the way when he was like buried, when she found out their plan to turn into a Titan in the city, Armin's words before he left to go fight her was repeating in his head, and I think it's something that John said to him, or was it the commander? So either John or the commander said something about in order to save humanity you have to lose it, which I also thought was very interesting. Yeah, like
I guess they meant that in the sense that you have to do something extreme to get something done.
I think they meant it in a sense, and I know that's a conflict in like not even just shows, but in real life. In order to do something that you think is the greater good, you have to do something that other people won't see as like you helping them, but it might help you at the end. It's just like a weird thing where it's like the morals. Not everything's black and white, so. Values of morals and where your morals lie, because what you might think what you're doing for someone is good. I mean, it could be good, but it's looked at as bad.
Yes. But I do want to say that there is one thing that happened at the end of the scene, and maybe if you go back, you'll see it. When Eren is fighting the female Titan, you'll notice that like he is very red. It almost looks like he's like full of like lava or something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's like burning, and he's like, I will kill them all. And he starts like getting like this really weird voice. And I don't remember what happens. I feel like he like snaps back to humanity or whatever to let her go. But at first I think he was going to eat her.
Was he going to eat her? It looked like I didn't know if he was just going to try to pull her out or if he was going to eat her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It looked like he was about to eat her, but then he pulled back.
Yeah. It's almost like something like taking over or something like that. He was like acting all
like he was just ready to finish her. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think, and this humanity like let her, turn back into a human and then crystallize and whatever. But yeah, it's awesome. The first season is amazing. But basically, we had to talk about the season cliffhanger.
I was just going to mention that. The freaking wall, like what?
The wall cracks. Because when Annie was trying to escape, before Eren almost ate her, she was trying to climb up the wall. She made a crack in it because of crystal fingers. And then after the end credits, the wall breaks a little and you see a Titan face just blinking at you. And it looks still alive. Obviously,
so basically the walls are made of Titans. So essentially this whole time they were never safe.
All of them or just the inner wall?
I think all of them, yeah.
Okay.
I think all of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that just shows you they were never really safe to begin with.
They were never really safe. Well, maybe the way he's like saying that, it's like, well, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. We'll see. We will see
for
in later
now,
seasons.
based off of
Exactly.
season
For
1
now.
intel. Yeah.
But that's the end of season 1.
Uh-huh.
For Tell.
What an epic ending, though.
It really is. And it makes you want to watch them more. So I'm definitely going to keep watching.
Yeah. I, to give the big overarching picture about these seasons, I introduced my husband to Attack on Titan about a month ago after like begging him to watch it. And I think that it actually was a disservice because I pretty much made him binge it. And you can't make someone force someone to like watch the show. They have to kind of come to it on their own terms. But I basically like made him binge it, and then it was too much, and then he didn't get interested up until the last season, season 4 that's currently out. Then he got back into it because he's like, okay, this is awesome. But season 1 is awesome. Season 2 is, it's a lot of setup. Season 3 is awesome. Season 4 is awesome.
Okay. So season 2, it might dip a little bit, but then it goes back up to season 3 is what you're saying.
Yeah, season 2 is just like full of questions. There's a bunch of questions, but then like season 3 comes around.
Like world building in that sense, right? Season 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks guys for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed our talk about the show, some of the spoilers. We just had to talk about it, so I'm sorry about that. But is there anything you want to say, Ed, before you go real quick? Thank you for joining us because you gave us a lot of insight about the show in general that we probably would have not talked about since you're very up to keep with the manga and the anime. Mm-hmm. So did you have any parting words?
Yeah, I think that everyone should watch this show. I think it's awesome. There's a lot of comparisons to real world stuff that we all have just recently experienced. And I think I think the story is going to evolve in a way that's going to make you really question morality and the grayness of the world. And it's not just a show about humanoid titans eating people. It's something a lot deeper, and it's incredible. So you guys have to, Nafees, you need to get on season 3 and you need to watch the rest of season 4. And Simone, you need to get caught up to where it is. And I would love to talk to you guys about it again when you're further.
When we're actually educated is what he's saying.
Exactly. When you actually know what's going on, because it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely keep up with it. So, well, thanks guys again for listening to this episode of I Was Thinking with Nafees, Simone, and Macy. You can follow us anywhere, everywhere. Well, not everywhere. On social media, Twitter and Instagram at I Was Thinking Pod. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about the show for later, we could probably bring my brother back. You can email us at iwasthinkingpod@gmail.com. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.